If you get to know Wakefield, you know that he's living his purpose. He's a spiritual being, and he's also an honorary social worker.
To say it is a capacity of spirituality that brought me to a place of healing. I have to say that is true. It is not the only way, but it is a very important way because it's the only thing I believe that we're taking with us. Did she step inside her halls of school again? Also, Alice from The Office, who repeatedly was shown domestic terrorism first begins inside the home. With multiple employment for the food and heat and rent, pay for 2 of 3, and all the money has been spent. Like those people whose behaviors we dismiss as poorest choices, submitting to what you can't hear, relentless inner voices. Like an auto wreck, a ruptured neck, a battered, bloodied brain, optioning for opiates to quell the cruelest pain. From those predisposed genetics, often first to take the fall, before most humans drown themselves consuming alcohol. And then those with money, those with means, when leisure got extensive, financed to foreclosure when their substance got expensive. I mean, every human in the life you do and do not know, and every soul no longer here we only knew as dough. There's no place like it. Not a single one's the same. But this is not Monopoly and life is not a game. It's something like a circus that's as hard as hell to tame. It's full of tears and this ain't cheers. Nobody knows your name. So, with the grace of distancing and social disconnection, pious persons postulate to claim the lone correction. So confused and self-infused in every which direction, don't realize reality is only their perception. Slanted news from slanted views assumed as information, cleaving our communities with social segregation. Here is where the evidence and arrogance shall meet. Where and what is happening on every city street. Did you say city? First mention city, then watch folks frown. No way in hell am I going downtown. Strewn in the sidewalks, dumped by the door, curled up on the alcove concrete floor. Public in the parking lot, shopping carts abound. Private in the parking lot, hidden underground. Back streets, side roads, narrowest of lanes, slumped at the Saddle Dome, home of the flames. On the public transit, shelter from the storm. See it in the stations, finding where it's warm. Grab it like graffiti painted up against the wall. There, right across from City Hall. Storefronts, boulevards, alleyways, entrance. People want to see it go away with a vengeance. Squalor in the streets must desist and decease. Wait a minute, can't we just call the police? There's no place like it. Not a single one's the same. But this is not Monopoly and life is not a game. Cardboard now constructed, crafting structures to sustain. But windows, doors, and locks don't work without a proper frame. Thus, if not here, and if not there, then where is this to go? I blame social services, the hell if I should know. 1935 are on the streets on every night. What a mass and multitude to simply shift to slight. Squatting centers, tenements of tents are springing up. I don't want those people around my kids I'm bringing up. Hunkered down in hospitals consumed by complications. Populated prisons make for warm accommodations. Out of sight means out of mind. I'm sure your bias vouches. You don't see the surplus of our city surfing couches. Life like this is still at risk, susceptible and prone, for when you have a roof, it doesn't mean you have a home. Systematic, symptomatic, suffering and strife. Death is looking now to be the best sleep of your life. Food and clothing, shelter often found the basic three. From the sidewalks to the door locks, granting human dignity. There's no place like it. Not a single one's the same. But this is not monopoly and life is not a game. It's complex and compounded, piled with prejudice and pain. It's always everybody's fault and everyone's to blame. Thank you. Thank you very much. That poem sort of says where people may end up. This poem kind of says how some of us get there. The title is Inside Life Inside because this is where you exist. This is where mental illness resides. When there is a discontinuity between you and the realities around you, you become isolated. Been there. I get it. I wrote a lot of me into this in subtle ways because I know I'm not the only one. So it makes me feel vulnerable, but it also makes me feel very real to those who hear it. So, as if this were true, this poem is titled Inside Life Inside. This life is right here. To whom here does life belong? To whom here could it not? Individually, collectively, projectively, reflectively, it's here, right here, all here, in here, for people in this life. Although we all feel differently, the culprit who's to blame? Nature boxed up our biology in countless ways the same. Regardless of the stimuli, at worst and at its best, mental wellness constantly on trial, at toil and test in this life. We're not adapting and evolving, we're redacting and revolving. Whilst we procreate the problems we once claimed that we were solving. Yet we only tend to find another dim and daily grind from landlords and lodgings, last notice dodgings, monthlies and mortgages, sustenance shortages, paying for the heating means tonight you aren't eating, and now feeling not okay is just a feeling that is fleeting. In this life, sources of support shall seed sustainability for people that purport a life of full fragility. Harder living now is the normality of lives, as once again, with sword and pen, the strongest still survives. Look, you struggle and you strive, and doth continue to contrive. For if you're hurting, you're still breathing, so you're still alive. Woes to wade and wander through the ebb and through the tide, swells and wanes, losing, gains, pressures still reside. There's money, meth, drunken choices, DV, death, sunken voices, layoffs, lineups, languish, dope, hunger, homeless, hopeless rope. These chameleons of causes of reiterate renditions, constantly contributing to curbing one's conditions into places, into spaces, finding most unfeeling faces. For in this life are found some versions of okay. And every find that's found will fix to forage every day. The lodging and the landlord both have simply gone away. Your sustenance is substance, now it's predator and prey. The only heat you have is the police, they're on their way. And you can't run, 'cause you don't eat. Don't need a scale to weigh this life. For prejudice and bias, we may miss the gravity. There is no single class exempt from this depravity. It lives in the elite, upper, middle, lower class. The ones who we deem vulnerable and never see yet pass in this life. We lose sight of what is right and wrong and what is justice. Every time it's me in plight, it's me, not them, or just us. Politics have politricks as sickness is systemic, like privatizing healthcare at the peak of a pandemic. The barriers affecting one's accessibility are always clear and present, we just have to want to see. They vary in such ways they're of their own diversity, and all need due respect for intersectionality in this life with grief, pain, judgment, prisons, guilt, shame, stigma, isms, culture, race, gender, ethnicity, faith, religion, language, literacy. All of this so close to us in all defined directions. 1 in 5, now 1 in 2, that's close to subconnections. We need rapport, relationships. The time is nigh, nay urgent, for knowing who and whom to seek when scenes appear insurgent. Moving quickly often means that one is one in all. So getting up is hard as hell for slip and trip and fall. A proverb of my Africa for faring stormy weather. You be Lilo, I be Stitch, and family goes together. What ails us and assails us, preludes then prevails us, shapes our sights and psyche so it fosters and it fails us. Nurture paired with nature, making normal nomenclature, narrowing what's neuro, loaded up with legislature. For elements that predetermine people's disposition, like alcohol distilled in my genetic premonition. Regardless of these barriers, profound and notwithstanding, we all could use more wellness, kindness, love, and understanding in this life. How are you feeling? Shall I give you another? Okay, are we good? Okay. So I have the opportunity to be a poet with a need to fill what it is that we speak of in terms of accessibility. So I use technology to be in places at the same time. Sometimes I will send my words along to help a facilitation's completion, to complement. And that is what UFC has had me do since the COVID days, is at times contribute a poem or two to a virtual convocation, and it's always within the realm of social work. Thank you so much. So this poem was written about social workers. I wrote this about every single person who deals with frontline working, teachers, educators. We found out who all of our social workers really are, and they don't simply have that name. So this is about all of you and the good work you do. I should have warned you, I don't have micro poetry or affirmations. This is long stuff, sorry. I'm a master storyteller. I've gone from slam champ to master storytelling, and these stories of us have a lot of details. There are a lot of us. I can't truncate all of us into something short, and come on, we waste more time looking at cats on the internet than I do anyway, okay? I waste so much time at cats. Okay, anyway. Just the thing about me. Here we go. This poem is titled The Human Movement. We're not here to garnish glory, neither here for show. We're not here for what we want to hear, but need to know. The heatings of hardships the tellings of traumas, the passages of pains. This has been a great exchange beyond us, anyone, a luminescent land of language not unlike our sun. And here we seek how truly dark some spaces really are, inequities implanted all amongst us near and far, painfully hiding in the plainest of sight. They're not at the table, they're not at the mic. Some fully visible, some without choice, some who need change, some with no voice. Tenuously tethered through threading thick and thin, provided with no purchase, but be bounded from within, affecting us each as one, or cases as groups, or races, and stats, and classes, the kind we find that bind when opportunity passes. Think about the world we live in, ponder on the time. Please consider how your world, it never could be mine. That's not to mark our differences as good or bad or worse, although without acknowledgement, it can become your curse. To live a cursed life may mean a short trip in a hearse. These rules and regulations done by dupes and designations, they were spelled, they were scripted, they were sanctioned long ago. From politics to politricks, we still don't even know. Fathered and favored by force and fascism. Penned and poised by patriarchy and punishment. Governed and granted by greed and gender. Written and ruled by wrath and race. Fostering fortune for only one face, determining doctrines, securing their space, pushing procedures to put us in place. Yet before birth, we've been bred to obey. Before drawing breath upon our very first day, years upon years of things becoming this way, how things were, how things are, how things have come to be. The systematic subjugation set on you and me. They prevalently prosper in today's society to a point where I have privileges that I can't plainly see. A victim to a system built to disempower me. It may not be my fault, but it's my responsibility. To craft and to collaborate, to co-curate and co-create, to challenge and to charge, making Earth accessible to all the world at large. Build an environment where all feel welcome, for they may freely bring all parts of their identities, maintaining every facet of their dignities, individually a hub of their intersectionalities, and we shall see them all. For when we are seen, we rise, and rising we achieve our highest potential, living out our dreams on a daily basis, moving beyond awareness to inclusion, moving beyond inclusion to action. This is growth, the growth of one, the growth of some, though it must begin with self. Self-growth only begins when there is self-accountability, when all find those privileged places within us, and we stop saying, I know. When the dialogue of differences begins to define, the veils of ignorance and apathy are lifted, exploring within to grasp what is gifted, advancing with advocacy, enlightening with education. There are seldom giant leaps to be made, only baby steps more often, with bigger backward slips. We are making progress, but change is never silent and simple, convenient and timely. It may have a point of focus, but it makes a broad effect. So prepare for the pushback. Rally against the resistance. Stupefy the skeptics. Nullify the naysayers. When it comes to numbering people, don't make people numbers. Neither mistake data for diversity. Inclusion is more than an increment. Equality doesn't equal equity. Policies to practices, procedures to the pay. Akin to Rome, these systems were not crafted in a day. We're learning newer methods while unlearning older ways. We need safety and space to speak our minds, so we can form our factions and facilitate our finds. Tally up the raw, tell it how it's real, show us how we shift the fact to stay inside the feel. Bringing ourselves into a sphere of global vision through a transformative justice lens, upon plodding paths of progression, and they simply have no ends. From a tape-bordered wall to a ramp in the floor, no closed captions or an automatic door. It is in that realization we may all relent, and it is inside this reality we're attempting to augment. And coming down to simple facts, there's truly only two. The human movement is in me. The human movement is in you. Thank you. My last poem. My last poem is about you, and I want you to take away two things from it. It's going to be about what you've kind of heard my life has had, some barriers, especially going through the educational systems. Yay for the trials, triumphs of Wakefield, Brewster. Yay. Okay, that's not really it. That's the allegory. I want you to take away two things from this. When you decide what you're going to be when you grow up, you're going to hear those peoples that say you can't. You want to say something out in the world so it becomes real in time, with action, with heart, with intention, with energy. And people, pow, you can't do that. It's still around in this day and age where we are trying to be understanding, compassionate, listen actively, not just to respond. Still, I hear it. Wakefield, what do you do for a living? I'm a poet and spoken word artist. What do you mean? I write poems and say them. You can't do that. I can't be doing that since 1999. Just so you know. I want you all to remember that whenever you hear, in that glib fashion, in that thoughtless way, even so benignly that it's harmful, when you hear you can't, from this poem, remember only two things. You probably can, and you probably should. This poem is for all of you, because I believe you can too. I am living proof of what social work may do for a life. And that's why I feel so at home with you, representing what you've all done for me. So now I can too. Whatever it is, I believe in you already without knowing you. You can. After decades of delivery on the MIC, unbelievably, people still asking me, what can you do with poetry? I know. That question used to make me angry. It used to get me hot. Now I tell them have a seat and ask them how much time they got. For you see, with poetry, I can. Julie danced down those same halls of learning where I once had the yearning to be a well-accomplished human with a 4.0. But my GPA was sadly way far below. I never got the knack of the educational flow. They made me sit still. So I stood still. I can confidently, comfortably cruise into classrooms where I was once coerced to create a captured, cornered mental state so I could clearly create a way to hate my own mind. By my educators, they were edu-haters. They formed the form to form my formative years, tainted with intolerance and a tidal wave of tears that sailed all of my dreams away from me. For they likened my self-image with one of stupidity. It was all that I heard and all that I could see. I can now be free, where I was once imprisoned by a mental prism. My errant splayed thoughts were like hot-colored rocks, endless ammunition for the slings of... This has 4 major themes. I call it my patchwork quilt poem. It's actually a really great learning poem that I teach in junior schools, in high schools, to help with creative writing, because a poem never has to be one thing. When I tried to write this poem that was inspired by my ma, these other themes wouldn't stop writing their way into the poem. So it was really, there was a cognitive dissonance. There was something that I felt happening and something that was happening on its own. I said, well, I've always write how I felt. I say, write how you feel. Well, I do well with stream of conscious poetry and I do well with free verse, but not all poets do that combination very well at all. So when I started to decipher what I wanted to write about and what was happening anyway, there's my ma, there's black culture, because I live it. There's a life of lyricism, because I live it, literacy, and then there's astrophysics, because space is the place. It really is one of my passions, astrophysics. So I put them all together, and I want you to hear how you can literally take these 4 pieces of fabric and use language as the thread to weave them together. So you will hear the feminine positive, gender positive. You will hear about black culture. You will hear about my love and life for lyricism in literacy. And you will hear about the cosmos. This poem is titled Lunar Her Story. It is time for the next. Pages must be turned. Books must be burned. We shall erase the past and make time start now. For history glory caused a frown upon my brow. It was all too much for me. It was all like real TV. I was overwhelmed and swamped like an inbox. An innocent woman stoned by rocks. Tumbling, breadfruit dropping out of trees unseen with ease and green gleam. Lower spectrums introduce purples, blues, and greens again. Don't you really remember when Mama said, eat your greens, eat your greens. Reflect on those words and tell me how it seems she knew more than she spoke. She birthed some mad thinkers and the illogic broke. It broke and broke the back out. It stoked and smoked the blackout. And no one was prepared for what beast was unleashed upon the land. Stipulation and manipulation walking hand in hand. The illogical language then became grand. Convoluted and compromised through bloody blue and blackened eyes. The black looked into the night like its namesake, made the spacescape of words come awake, lifted the level like a lyrical Lazarus, denied the slick grip that we know that time has on us, spilling through space like sugar. We are the sweetest of stars, we stay redder than Mars, giants like Jupiter, dust in lunar winds, blowing throughout all of our travels, bringing fear to the atmosphere. Subway to Venus, y'all move it to the rear. And still, I couldn't get excited. Landing on different planetary spots, the ones yet undiscovered. But you gon' tell me you uncovered it first. Prepare for the worst. For I am like the enemy in the lyrical arms race. Call me the Black Russian, cause I made it first to space. And then got celestial, frightened for the style is quick, fast, see? Dark speech move like that, so you don't know what happened. Traveling at the speed of light, that's why we call it rapping. Her story is the one to listen to. She brought all of us here to do what we do, and I have always loved her. Call her the moon, but really she's the sun. So I call my brother sun, cause he shine like one, as we all should be inside the Milky Way womb that we all call she. Did it for us all. Her stories were pure light, her tales weren't tall, but we let her take the fall. It's time to bring her back and put her high beyond sight, and let her know that she's the comfort in the blackness of the night. And let his story cascade like Lucifer, for he just ain't bright. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Can we get some claps? Let's try that again. Ready?
Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you.
Wonderful. It's going to get going. Oh, yeah.
Oh, thanks so much.
Enjoyed it. Thank you.
Oh, I enjoyed it too. Thank you.